that clip went from unreviewed to unassigned. Then what happens is it gets assigned to a supervisor. A supervisor then can go in, review the clip, and determine if the notes and the observations are correct. Maybe this driver has had several clips assigned and they decide that it needs to be coached. They can then go into the unassigned clips, assign it to a coach, and then it goes into a coach's dashboard, and you have the assigned to me clips. Then me as a coach, I can go in and actually bring the driver in, go over these observations and the notes, and let's say your transit agency that wants to do this on a quarterly or semi-annual basis, you have your clips to review with the driver. Another nice thing about that is the operators have their own set of clips, so you can log in and see driver's name, their ID, the severity of the clips that have been submitted, and their overall score. Sometimes that is a good way for a coach and supervisor to determine the type of training that this driver may need. Coaches also have their own scorecard where, let's say this is me, I have 1 ready to be coached, 0 in progress, 0 completed, 1 overdue. I click on my name, I also get my own scorecard, determined 1 ready, 0, they should match, and they do. And this is the driver, the observed behavior, it was a collision, he failed to yield. Another nice thing that we have is called a trends page. You can go in here and customize your date range, and as you can see, this transit agency has in a ranking near misses, which are severe. They're up 25%. Curb check, jump to curb, no clips, 0 points. As you can see, this is a good way for an agency to determine the trends of their drivers and the observations being performed. Down percentage, up percentage. Red being high level, 0, 3s, down to 1, and so on. So if you go into your clips page, and let's just pull up any particular clip. Over here on the right, we have the chain of custody. And what's really nice about this is that anytime anybody, a reviewer, a coach, or a supervisor, or even an admin, looks at a clip, touches a clip, it's documented. So complete chain of custody from the beginning of the reviewing of the clip to the very end. You also have a button to reassign as well. So if another coach needs to get involved, you can reassign it. You can preserve it into long-term storage. Of course, you got your notes section, your observations, and then your chain of custody. So you've got your unreviewed, where the initial reviewer looks at the clip. They decide that it has observations and notes that need to be placed on the clip. They assign it to the supervisor. The supervisor can go into the unassigned, determine if the clip is coachable worthy, then they would assign it to a coach. And then the coach would come in and take a look at the clip, add that within the trends of the driver. And that's another nice thing about the trends page. You have the observations, but you can change the drop-down menus to customize the date range. You can also search just by operator. So this driver obviously is doing a much better job. Their points have come down. Their percentages have decreased. You can also go by count, or you can go by point. That's their overall points. So this driver is actually going in the right direction. This driver is going in the wrong direction. And then we also can determine if there's been no change. So if I was a coach and I came in and I saw that I had some clips assigned to me, I would review the clips in their entirety, just like the original reviewer would do. And what I'm doing is making sure that the reviewer view this in the way that is agreeable to the transit agency. So I'm going to review the clip, look at the markers that were placed, and you can actually just go to the marker on the timeline, which is really nice, and just skip to the observation. Does this observation match over here? And the notes. Driver is eating throughout the video. He's driving with one hand on the wheel. He runs a red light. So at this point, as the supervisor, or the coach, excuse me, I would then go to the trends page, look at the observations of the operators, and see how many times this driver has been called in. And is there consistent problems with the driver? You can also go to the scorecard page and look at their score, the severity levels of the observations that have been placed, low, medium, 5 is high. Look at the different types of clips and the behaviors. Taking all of this into consideration, along with the clip itself that has been assigned to me, does this driver need to be called in for some training? It is about operator performance as far as creating better drivers, safer drivers, to lessen the mitigation and litigation costs of a company. But we also want to use the notes section to put in notes to observe when a driver does something good, like driver demonstrates proper defensive driving techniques, or they displayed good judgment. Did they slow for a potential hazard? All those things can also be noted over here. So on the dashboard, one of the things I wanted to point out is just the overall picture of the clip itself. As you can see, you've got your camera views, you've got your dates, your times, you've got your basic information, which is the bus number, the date and time, what triggered this. Was it an accelerometer or an event? You've got your operator name and the clip ID. You've got your option buttons that are enabled to add notes, place observations, submit your chain of custody. You have your metadata tables, which is GPS live, so you can see the actual route that the bus is driving. You've got your speed graph, and you've got your accelerometer, and this is the G-force of the event that happened. And then you have your operator, and you've got the bus, the date, the bus, what was triggering it, the severity of the trigger, who has actually looked at it, coached it. Are there any observations? In the demo, we don't have this number showing, but if this particular driver has multiple observations, let's say driving with one hand on the wheel, this would say yes, because there would be other observations that match this behavior on previously coached clips. So your metadata, your info. And on the clips page, you click on, you get the same information, and you can actually ignore a clip if you choose not to coach it, or the supervisor doesn't believe it needs to be coachable, you can actually ignore it. You got your operators page again. This driver, their ID, their overall score, the severity of their clips, whether it was low, medium, high, severely high. Get your coaches tab. Again, coach 1, they have clips to be reviewed, none in progress, 2 completed, none overdue. So it gives you an at glance of what your daily workload is like. And then the trends page, which will give an agency a really good idea of what's trending in their organization, what observations are trending, good, bad, the severity, and you can also change this to the operators themselves and click on a specific operator, determine where they are in their progress. So that's operator performance in a whole, and I hope you liked our demonstration.